The Hobby Show, or ETHobbyShow, ETHobbyShow.
Okay.
ETHobbyShow says, in what ways did you struggle to keep the show relevant and engaging to the audience, considering the amazing amount of years the show ran?
Well, ETHobbyShow, it's got quite a negative spin to that question. How did you struggle? How did you struggle? I'm not sure we did struggle.
There's this quote from Rilke I always like to point out where he says, although you will fail, it's incumbent on you to be ignorant of your best qualities.
Very good.
If you're going to utilize them. And, I think on the show, the thing that was such a great grace about it is it was a hit before any of us kind of knew what it was. Yeah. And thus, we got to sort of make the show we wanted without significant interference for most of our run.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that is really pretty incredibly true. And we weren't thinking about how the show landed with the audience. In one sense, as communicators, we're thinking about how to land with the audience just to make the jokes hit and the narrative interesting. Yeah. But then we're not worrying about do they love us better than anybody? It's like, we're just making the thing that we're hoping is funny, right?
Yeah. I think also we were a very early adopter of social media, particularly amongst the Discovery kind of umbrella.
Yeah.
And that put us in touch with our fans. And so we had a really clear dialogue of what they liked, what they didn't like, what they thought we got wrong. So we were able to keep it relevant, I think, because of that.
Yeah. And we paid a lot of attention to that. Once we started doing the after shows, in which we'd answer questions about the myth that broadcast right after the story. And obviously we'd shoot those beforehand, but we would pay a lot of attention to the fan response to those.
Yeah.
And that would come into our sort of mental palace.
Yeah. I think one of the challenges that I think we always had was, while we could always make it relevant and engaging, I hope.
Nicely done.
Relevant and engaging. What I think was difficult was the time lag to make the show.
Yeah.
And I don't think we ever quite overcame that there'd be some viral video or some moment in time where we would think we have to test that.
Yeah.
But because of the machine, the earliest we could get something on screen was 4 months, probably.
There were times it compressed tighter than that.
Maybe.
I definitely remember that.
I think Coca-Mentos, that compressed. Yeah. We can maybe talk about that
they
later.
moved heaven and earth for Coca-Mentos.
But that was hard to overcome.
Yeah.
And that could sometimes look as though a myth wasn't dealt with the relevancy that it should have done, because it came out 2 months after the moment.
Especially because a viral video would come out, we'd shoot a story about it, and then all this other ancillary material would show up that we hadn't covered.
Yeah.
I would imagine today that the difference would be that because of the desire for that relevancy with social media, that Discovery would be putting more pressure on us.
I think so.
For fast delivery.
Yeah.
When I said the show was a hit before we got a chance to know about it, I mean, I remember first season, we were shooting episodes at the same time as episodes we'd shot a couple months ago were already airing. That was the closest that we ever got.
Yeah. And that was quite frightening. Hoping that we'd got it right. I mean, it's interesting you saying the idea that, we were making the show that we wanted to make. Throughout the course of MythBusters, there were probably more than 100 key members of staff who worked on it.
Yeah.
And they were all incredibly talented, but there was not many who absolutely got the show. And I think when we were coming up with stories and designing them, often it felt like it was you and me and Jamie who really understood what it was. Some of the directors, Alice, Steve, some of the associate producers, Eric and Linda, but it was a real core group who just got it.
There was a lovely thing Alice did really early on in producing me, in that she would not let a piece go. She would not call a piece to camera done unless she understood what the hell I was talking about. And that was from the very get-go of her producing. Yeah. And it was Alice is
absolutely right.
An amazing producer in that.
Yeah.
Right? Just focusing, I don't understand what you're saying. Keep on saying it until I do. And knowing that there was light at the end of that tunnel was a great education.
Yeah.
When we're talking about people not getting the show, I want to tell this story about one of our Deadliest Catch One of our Deadliest Catch collaborations. So for context, Discovery would ask us occasionally to do shows about some of their other tentpole shows in order to bring them up. And they wanted us to do a Deadliest Catch episode, and we did one. We did one with crab traps on the bay. It was really fun. Stig and a bunch of other guys came out. Not Stig. Sig, that's it. Sig came out and some other guys that were really fun to hang out with. And then like a year later, Discovery wanted another one. And we said, there's no there anymore. We've done all the stories that we could find. There's none others. And they came back and said, we've polled internally and we have some great myths. We want to have a phone call and tell you what we've come up with. And you want to say the first one they mentioned?
So the first one was, we have heard, and they bigged it up, didn't they? It was
they
like,
really
drum
did.
roll, please.
They were so excited to be
you.
pitching ideas to us.
Yeah.
They were.
We have heard that it is unlucky to have a woman on a boat. And we're like, okay.
This is you, me, Jamie, Alice, sitting around the table hearing this, and four of us being like,
what else you got?
Well, there's this long pause. We're like, wow, really? Have any of you guys seen the show that is not the kind of unlucky?
But then the next
And then
one,
like, okay, we got, you don't like that one? Sure enough, we got another one. This one's really great.
We've heard it's even more unlucky to have a banana on the boat. And at this point, because we had rejected the other one, I felt we couldn't, kick them while they were down. So I was like, okay, we've got two boats. Right. One's got a banana on it. One hasn't got a banana. What then happens?
Are we rolling dice? D&D dice. We're rolling D20s to see who's getting the higher numbers. I don't mean to pay them out because these weren't people being willfully like obtuse or dumb. No. They were actually trying to solve a problem for us, and I greatly appreciate that. And it is funny the degree to which it was like, do you guys watch the show that we're currently discussing?
Yeah. I would say as showrunner, that is the sort of stuff I shielded you from. There was a lot of those sort of ideas, collaborations, tie-ins that were tricky to make work.
Yeah. We got some of the, later on when the show, was really established, there were a lot of those requests within commerce for Discovery. Like, could you do this for one of our large corporate partners? Jamie and I turned down a lot of that stuff. Thank you so much for watching that video. Your support allows us to make more of this great content. If you'd like to help us on a deeper level even, head over to tested-store.com because we've got stickers. Who doesn't love stickers? Our anime-inspired Tested logo in Japanese. Follow the process, not the plan. It's not a process. It's not a problem to solve, it's a process to manage. Other aphorisms that have come from my mouth. And we have just made a full set of our demerit badges in sticker form. So you can cover your toolbox with all of your screw-ups and celebrate it with other makers. Thank you guys so much. See you next time.